Okay. I wasn't planning to make this video, but uh, I was like, you know what? I know that continuously saying things, there's power in words, and I know that me saying what I say, um, even though I might not be there to see what I'm saying, it'll be it'll be true. And surprisingly, I've said a lot of things that happen to be true, and I've even surprised myself at times. Because even though I was saying that, I didn't know it was to that extent. But it's very much in that extent. Now, uh, in, in my other channel, I made videos about how they're messing with me. Like they'll put things on my reel that's just to kind of create this back and forth. But I just want to say that things sometimes just happen in ways that just kind of, I'm thankful to God. Now let me introduce myself really quickly. I'm a TI. I'm a target individual. I'm a human subject, and as a human subject, there is a program that utilizes Department of Defense technology, and this program is meant to perfect an already very sophisticated technology. And we target individuals are human subjects in this program where they utilize some of the most sophisticated technology that's deriving from the Department of Defense, but obviously has the involvement of like CIA and intelligence community, because this program is meant to perfect manipulations and control of human beings. This technology does so much things, and it's multiple. It's the technology that can not only impact you physically, meaning the things they do to my body and to my organs, done remotely. So far, nobody has done anything to me physically. But my bones, I'm like super fragilized. Everything, like I feel like if I fall, I could break all my bones. My teeth, my organs, my joints, my muscles, all of that. Nothing has been done to me physically. I have not, but I'm so fragilized. You'll think that I've been going through things where I've been physically impacted to the point where this is happening to me. But none of that has happened to me. Whatever is being applied onto me is technology that's able to do things to a human body remotely. And that's where you obviously know that this is Department of Defense technology. And then there's also what this technology can do mentally. It can capture your brain, the signal of your brain, and then start manipulating your thoughts, your perceptions, your reactions, your brain. And this manipulation not only consists of just these thoughts, memory, perceptions, but your libido. They play your libido like it's nothing. They can make you have sexual arousal whenever they want you to. It's usually is meant to kind of break you down. So you have this ability, and then you have these bottom feeders who are contracted by governmental entities such as the Department of Defense. And their job is to implement those tactics to kind of break you down. It's like they want to break your self-image. They want you to kind of start distancing yourself from who you actually are, but start identifying with the way they can manipulate you to experience things. And via voice to skull, which is this technology that can interact, that can project voices onto your brain. Sound sometimes like they're just behind the walls, but they could be somewhere completely different from where you think they are. And they will say things to kind of break you down and just like disorient you and try to confuse you and divert every time you put things in perspective. For example, you're like, I know that you guys are doing to me, and they'll be like, oh, you'll starve randomly. Always try to disorient you, confuse you, is what they do. It's nasty. And things they like to say is like, we are at war. The reality is you're just a human subject. These people are contracted to implement these tactics, and obviously there's a purpose, there's a result they want to acquire, right? And for me, the purpose is they have to become children almost, because I think there's a part of the agitation. They try to frustrate you, and they have to make themselves childlike individuals because they're obviously working on changing how you experience things. So not only they know that you're being manipulated because they are involved in the manipulation, but then they try to sell you and convince you that we're just like looking at what's happening. We're just seeing your reaction. We're not doing anything to you. It's just us observing the reaction, the natural organic reaction that you're having. We're not changing anything, right? Knowing damn well that it's super obvious that something is happening. I will not react this way, and I know I'm being manipulated. Because not only I know myself, you know that I'm not going. I know that I'm not going to react this way. But you've been validated, in every ways you've been told. Others have said what you've experienced. Exactly, making you feel sexual arousals, disturbing thoughts, pedophilia, like all of that non-stop. You've heard so much that you're beyond the validations are not even like it's so surreally validated that it's almost biblical. But these people now have to become children because they try to gaslight you, but you're not being gaslighted. You just see them as the idiots that they have to be. You see them for the bottom feeders that they are. And so now you're validated. You understand. It's like, I know that you're trying to gaslight me into accepting these things. I know you're being manipulative. And so when they do these manipulations, it's just disturbing. But you know that these people have sold their soul to whatever entities that contract them to do these things. Now, those entities that they've sold the soul to, that's when things become a little bit biblical too. A lot of the tactics they do are disgustingly pedophilia-centric. They force us to look at kids in different disgusting ways. Sexual ways are so disturbing. From little babies to teenage kids. Now, if they can do that to babies, what they can do to older kids is obviously going to be easier. Because at this point, when they do this to older kids, the older kids can pass for adults. If you talk about 17, 18, they're like, some of them look older, so you can think that they're older. You think they're adults when they're not. But when they do that to like a 10-year-old, and you're like, if you can do that to a baby that's 10-year-old, what can you do to to older kid? Do that to an 8-year-old. Like, this is so disturbing. Yesterday I was watching this kid dancing. She was like 10 max, right? Between 8 and 10. And it was like a hip hop dance she was doing, and I would not even look at this video, but they were trying to mess with me because like, no, it's a boy, it's a girl. So when it's a girl for me, it's like, oh no, that wouldn't matter. It's you. In reality, it's what they do to me. But I was like, she looked like a girl. That's not a boy. And I look at it, it's a girl, but she knows how to dance very well. Like she was like doing some amazing dance move. It's like impressing dance move. So even though I was dealing with these nasty things, at the same time I was kind of appreciating the way she was dancing. It was like, wow, it was like really impressive. It's the kind of stuff I would watch normally if I was not being manipulated by these bottom feeders. I would love to watch this kind of stuff. This is super impressive. This kid knows how to dance. She has great moves. Now, I'm not like a dancer, but she made you want to dance too. The way they were making me look at this 10 max was disturbing. So you can only imagine what they can do to some older kid or some like late teen. Easy. So that's the way they manipulate us target individual. But the most disgusting is you have people like even employers who try to like make you believe this nastiness, and you look at them. For me, I'm not timid anymore. Oh, I make it clear that I know that these people are very pedophilia centric. I don't care. Like those the subtle ways we speak, the subtle way I speak back to them. There's a few things I can say to put things back in perspective very quickly. Very quickly. Because the people who do these things to me have this deluded reality where they think that there's some kind of femme fatale, fierce group of women, when the reality that this program has obviously done so much horrible and still doing so much horrible things to not only women, but children. And these pedophilia tactics have been expressed by women with children. One woman literally said that, you know, they do this thing, this program perversion with these teenagers in my head and things like that. This is a woman with kids. Can you imagine being a grown-ass woman with babies, and now they make you have dreams, sexual dreams, or create some kind of training, conditioning, where they make you think of teenagers in a sexual way. So they have this pattern of doing things. It's nasty. So for me, they can do that, and they've been doing the same thing. But, you know, for me, I look at this level of extremes. The most disturbing is when they do that to babies. When they do that to, like, for example, yesterday in my video, you should see that in my other channel. You know, I have a secondary channel, and I was going through my reels on Instagram. I wasn't even going through. I was just scrolling down, and some recommended reels. You know, those like short videos came up. I was like, oh, and this one I see, and I'm not sure if she's an adult or not. Right? I'm not sure, but it's just like this young person. At that point, I don't know how young, but she's walking, and she's walking like it's kind of sexual. She's walking toward, like, she's a softball player, and she's walking and just kind of walking in a sexual way and just turning around and, like, you know, and it's supposed to be like, oh, you see me, like she's supposed to show her body, right? And I'm looking at her, I'm like, I'm not 100% sure if she's an adult or not. From this point, she kind of looked like, but I'm not sure. Because the other reels were like obvious adults, and I know that they've been doing these things with implanting reels that include kids doing something kind of sexual, not sexual, but like dancing in a sexual way. Not even like the cool dancing, but like specifically dance to show their body. You know, not like really like doing real movements and stuff. Just like try to show like sexual ways of doing, like, of dancing, right? Not in a actual like choreographic way. So I'm like, I'm not sure, but out of all three, this one I don't want to. So let me see, because what happened is if I didn't pay attention, they're like, oh, you see. Now I check on what I do. I check is like, okay, is this person even worth dwelling on? Because sometimes it's an adult that just look like a kid. Sometimes it's like a kid that just look like an adult. So I click on it, and I see like the kids, the people behind it looks like kids, but, you know, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not even sure now. I'm less sure that she's an adult. And then I go through the comments and finding out she's like some senior or junior high schooler. I was like, okay, whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's why it came out of nowhere. I made a whole video about it. You can see it in my other channel, literally expressing and showing what they did. Now, as a target individual, I know that they've been doing this kind of things nonstop. And in my brain right now, they try to like contest like, if was she a senior or junior? I don't know. Some guys, he looked it up the same way, and he was like, oh, she looked like she's either junior or senior in this picture, in this video, so let me get out of here. I'm like, okay. So for me, is to understand that. But these people, as much as they try to trick you into this kind of situation, then they try to create a battles like, you see, we proved this. Like, no, you put this video there because this person will be hard to tell just by looking at it in this reel, you know, just this way. You couldn't guess her age. You think that she's maybe collegey, but you're not sure, but you barely can see her. And they use these moments as if like, okay, we've proved it, you see. It's like, no, you just made somebody, showed somebody who is hard to tell just by looking at it in this way. But to them, it's about painting a false reality because they're projecting reality. And I'm not saying that, like, the intention is not to project reality. The intention is to make you believe that you're this false reality, right? Make you believe that this is something natural, that you want to be with kids or whatever. And that you have this like thing for like kids, underage kids. You want to be with minors, and and for me, they tell me how they're gonna frame me with some child like trash here. And every time I hear somebody coming up the door, I'm 13 years old. Another one say I'm 16 years old. It's like, I don't give a shit how old you are. Don't talk to me. But you know, because that's how they plan on framing me. And it's nasty, but the reason why I'm saying they're projecting is because the reality of the entities contracting them have had so much issue with pedophilia. It's ridiculous. Not only they do this pedophilia type of torture, not only they torture children in sexual way, I mean sexually harming children as young as 4 and 5 years old, 3 years old, 7 years old. Disgusting things they do to kids. But these entities have been ranked by these child protective entities that have said that the Department of Defense network has been ranked top tier in regard of sharing the most child porn. Well, for us, for me, they are here putting some random reels of like some underage person or somebody who's, I don't know if she's under 18 or she's 18, but either way, like kids. And just to try to create this persona when these people are consistently being ranked for being pedophiles at a serious level, meaning that it's just not 1 or 2 person. It means that it's like a large amount of people, a large amount of child porn being shared in this network. We're not talking about a few individuals. That's why I'm saying serious, as in the number of what it's ridiculous. So they even tried to pass a bill which is called S1413. While they do this, while they try to pass this bill, which it seemed like it didn't go through, this bill was supposed to kind of slow down and try to help, like, stop what's going on in this, in I think it's called End Abuse Network, because they pass so much child porn and children being abused in this child porn, obviously, and share that to each other. And I'm not even go to that level, but but it's such a problem. They try to pass this bill, right, to end this child porn sharing. And by the way, there was like this 2006 big time investigation where they were investigating this like crime ring in Belarus and Ukraine that was like had like child porn website where people had to subscribe and pay like a monthly fee, and they called a bunch of DOD people there. But anyways, regardless of that, in 2018 they were being ranked. They're being ranked as top tier sharers of child porn. And so for me, the reason why I say they are projecting is that's the reality. They actually work for pedophiles. And they do these things where they force us to get stimulation to our children. From the babies. I'm talking about little kids. 2 seconds ago, there was this little black girl who's maybe 6 to 7 years old. And they're like, now we mapped it to, guess what? To you when you were 13 or 14 years old. You understand the bill that they were trying to pass is called S1413. And what they're doing is, like, for me, they're making me think of me when I was a kid. Or their logic is we're making you think the way you were thinking when you were 13 or 14. Do you understand the projection of reality? They are making my brain, according to the way they want to be logical, to think the way I was thinking when I was a child. And they said, no, we mapped it to you when you were a kid, when you were like 13 or 14 years old. Well, there's a bill called S1413 that was meant to stop and end this child porn abuse or whatever shared between peer-to-peer at the Department of Defense. And you hear this trash working for those same entities where this pedophilia is such an issue to say, now we mapped it to you when you're 13, 14 years old. And then they talk about, no. And look how stupid they try to make things seem. They're like, no, you see, remember what you did as a kid? I did some dumb thing when I was a child, when I was 13, 14 years old. Where I did something to myself. They try to exaggerate. And they try to be like, no, we see, but this how many letters? 5 letters, S123 or whatever. All the bills have the same letters. They're all about having 5 or so at this point. There's a bunch of them. You see, but based on what you did as a kid, and then try to exaggerate what I did as a kid. What I did as a kid, I did it to myself. But the reality is, isn't that weird that as you're trying to stop what's going on in these entities where there's so much pedophilia, you're saying that you talk about me in middle school, a 13, 14-year-old, and then try to talk about that you're making my brain be a child. Well, you have grown-ass men and maybe women, but adults in these entities that sharing child porn to the point where they're getting ranked top tier. And you know this is people with power. These people can go in some countries and do things to babies. Some of these entities are also the CIA, where they actually have done things to 2-year-old and 6-year-old. And you hear these bottom feeders, they use when they have to be the most damn like, or childlike, they send these children. Because in their mind, they think that the children who are interacting with me via V2K are going to counter this reality. They think that me hearing a child saying that is going to change everything. No, this child has been sold to pedophiles. She's being grown by pedophiles. And it's obvious that these entities have issues for years with pedophilia. She's been groomed to be a low-life bottom feeder, working for pedophiles that is cowardly as you can never believe. And she'll get hers. But whoever sold her to those entities, they should feel guilty for that. Because now she's here trying to counter a reality that's so disturbing that these governmental entities have had issues with pedophilia for years. You know, 2 seconds ago, before coming and making this video, I was watching this video. This video was, they were interviewing this 25-year-old, and this guy was talking. They would talk about some things they would talk about was sexual. I started getting these sexual arousals they make me have. Now, I don't care too much the adult talking about something sexual, but I know that I'm feeling these warm arousals. I don't understand. Like, I understand this them doing these things to me. They are making me feel stimulations as always. And so they're making me have stimulations, right? And I'm like, what's going on here? Actually, I'm not even saying that, sorry. They kind of make it hard for me to speak right now. You can see I'm kind of zoning out. It's because they're doing something to my brain. I'm not worried too much. I was like, okay, whatever. They do that to babies. Those are 2 adults. They're talking about something sexual. So I'm not really going to care. But I feel the arousal's coming out. They keep talking and talking. And the arousal continues. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, they're just cranking it up. It's nothing new. But, you know, they're 2 adults, so I don't care. And so they start talking about somebody, a porn star. The arousals increase even more. And then they talk about how this porn star, when she was younger, when she was 16 years old, she was with a basketball player. And then the stimulation went even higher. I was like, oh, this is what they were doing. All along, they were just prepping for this moment of this man talking about how this porn star, when she was like 16-year-old, she was doing things to basketball players. And this is why they were sexually stimulating me. You see how they paint these fantasies? And then they're like, nah, you are. I was like, oh gosh, this fraudulent trash. These people sold their soul to pedophiles and they're here trying to manipulate reality. They're not going to alter reality. I know I'm being manipulated to experience these things. That's how pathetic it becomes. And then try to do noise campaign where they open the door and they try to speak it. Nah, you are. It's like, Jesus, you sold your low bottom feeder trash, sold your soul to pedophiles. Well, they are here trying to pass the bill to stop these child porn issues. You are here creating stimulation and forcing stimulation onto people because you know that at some point somebody's going to talk about a 16-year-old. Talk about it. a 16-year-old. Or not even to talk about somebody that used to do things when she was 16 years old. She's 30 some years old now. But talk about how when she was 16 she was with a basketball player. To create this fantasy, I mean, I understand they're enjoying what they're doing right now, but this for sure is gonna happen. That's why I make this video as many as I make, because I understand me speaking that out loud is come to fruition. What I'm saying is true, is gonna happen. I'm speaking now before I can't speak again. I know. Just like I know what the horrible things are going to happen to me are going to happen to me, because they need to compensate from reality. They think that doing that to me is going to change what's going to happen to them. It's not. Matter of fact, they should dedicate more time and see how it goes. It's easy. But this easy thing it comes at a price. And the humiliation of reality. Well, they can't even speak about, they're stimulating me like that. But can't I even speak about a man that used to pick up kids as young as 14 years old? To hear them say that is embarrassing. And they try to find fierceness about how they can see in a sneaky way to be barely heard. I'm like, you're so pathetic. You can't say the name of this man. He picked up kids at the YMCA when he was 35 years old. You're not even, while you are here forcing me to get stimulation onto somebody talking about a woman who's not 30, but when she was 16 years old, was with some basketball player. I will refuse to let them live that fantasy. For me, I make it clear. You want to talk about issues with pedophilia? Yeah, you know where you can find that. Matter of fact, let me say this name for you. And so, even when I'm on a call with clients or people, I make myself understood. I'm like, hey, this is a top tier. This consistently this is consistent top tier rankings here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is real. No mapping. No manipulations. These people are delusional. They want to live off a false reality. I'm not gonna listen. What they do to me doesn't sound hard to do, in the sense that it doesn't. All they have to do is just gonna be patient. Be there. Say the whatever repetitive. Like, it doesn't take geniuses to do what they do. That's for sure. It takes maybe some dedication, some consuming some time doing these foul things. And it takes a level of just making yourself an idiot, because obviously I notice what they try to do. They gaslight you and they act like, oh, no, you are, it's you. And it's like, everything here is just orchestrated this way. You can't even say, I can say two words. You will be sweating bullets. That's why I make videos, to put things back in perspective. Go to my secondary channel. You'll see what they were doing last time. So to all my target individuals, be strong. Because for me, once I humiliate them with just reality, they tell me how they're going to rape me. Because for me, they tell me how they're going to frame me. Guess how? Their signature things, pedophilia-centric. And I know that because of how they've been humiliated by just the reality of what they're part of, it's going to be so bad. They tell me how they're going to tattoo pedophile here. I was like, this is you guys trying to delude yourself of reality. You try to alter reality. You think that's going to make me one? No. You guys work for pedophiles. You guys want me to be one. Me, tattoo everything you want around me. It's not going to change reality. You are literally manipulating me these ways. You're forcing me to get stimulation toward kids. Matter of fact, sometimes just saying well, in reality, you guys are the pedos. You guys are the cowards that will even torture children sexually. So they want to compensate from reality and live this fantasy. It's not going to stop what's going to happen to you. Just like me speaking, it's not going to stop what's going to happen to me. I don't know. I just want to make sure that I say what I need to say before I scream. I'm tortured, I'm tormented by people who have been humiliated by reality while doing these disturbing things to people. So to all my target individuals, stay strong.